Welcome to the EC Utopia Education Channel. In today's session, we're going to learn about user management. In the EC Utopia system, you actually have the ability to manage your users. You can add, you can delete. Key takeaway items that we're going to learn about today are how to add a new user, how to make changes to an existing user, things like changing passwords, changing roles, associating retailers with users, making a user a parts only or a merchandise only role, changing language choices, making a user inactive or active, or for those users that need it, to exclude them from email alerts. To manage our users from within the application, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to navigate to the Manage Users tab. So from within the Manage Users tab, you see that we actually have a couple of sub-tabs: Manage Users, Users Audits. Users Audits is nice because what it does gives us the latest activity that's related back to our users, so we can tell last time that they logged in and the status of those particular users. So back on the Manage Users sub-tab of Manage Users, the first task that we're actually going to do is we're going to add a user. So we click on the Add Users tab, and Add Users takes us into the Add Users screen form. You'll notice in Add Users that we have the red asterisk again. Red asterisk indicate that these are mandatory fields that need to be completed, and those fall on username, password, retyping the password to validate that we got it right, the email address, phone number, the user type, user language are the required field. The first field that we're going to work on today is the username field. The username is the login username that the user will be using. So when they go to the EC Utopia website, this will be the username that they enter. So we assign the new user a username that they're going to be able to remember. In this particular case, we're going to type in Papa Crunch, first name and last name, and then a password. And the password needs to have certain fields, and if we don't enter those fields, it comes back and it reminds us of what they are. So for the password field, it needs to be at least 6 characters, contain one lowercase letter, an uppercase letter, 1 digit, and 1 special character, and then it even tells us what those special characters are that are valid for the system. So now we type in a valid email address, phone number, and now we're going to select a user type. There's 2 user types in the system: administrator and staff. Staff has the ability to log in and view documents. The administrator can take any action on any document or any screen form that's out there. They can also go in and they can add users, change, delete, those types of things. So we're going to set our user up as an administrator. The other tab that we see over here is the parts only and merchandise only. We only use these checkboxes if we have a user that's only going to be managing parts or only wants to see merchandise type orders. Normally we would leave these blank, but if again we have a worker that they deal with parts only, then we get that parts only designation and we just check that box. We get to the language selection and you see the choices that are available there. We're going to pick English today. Active, what this does, it sets the user up to actually be able to use the system. If the user does not have the active box checked, it means that they're inactive and will not be able to log into the system. Exclude from email alerts. For users that need to have access to the system at some point in time but do not want to receive email alerts letting them know when orders or changes to orders have been received, we use the exclude from email alerts. The days until inactive box, if you have temporary or seasonal workers or someone that you know is leaving and you don't want them to have access at some point in time, use the days until inactive. So I'm going to set myself up as a seasonal worker. I'm going to be here for 10 days. The next field that we have are the available retailers. So in our particular case, we have one retailer that's available. We click on that retailer and we can move them over using the checkbox or arrow. If we want to take them back off, we check the arrow going the other way. First we have to select that user or that retailer, click the box and take them over. The other thing that you can do is if you want to select all of the available retailers or vendors, you can click on the arrow, the double arrow, and that will take all of the available partners and move them over to you. And then when you finish up, you click Add User, and what that does, gives us a box that says, congratulations, our new user has been created successfully. And now we see we have our new user out there, Papa Crunch. Now, if we want to edit a user, we move to the Edit User, click on Edit User, and Edit User is used for changing passwords, moving available retailers from one side to the other. So if you have additional retailers that you want to assign to a user, or if you want to reduce the number of retailers that the user gets orders for, you can move them to the other side. We can also use the Edit User screen to change email addresses, change phone numbers, change the user type, or change the user's language as well. We can set a user to inactive if we'd like to. We can include them on email alerts, but this one we just made inactive, so that's not going to work so well. And we can update that user. Users can also change their own passwords using the Forgot Password feature. By clicking on Forgot Password, what it does is it takes you to the screen where you can enter it. The user can enter in their email address, hit Submit, and what that'll do is that'll send an email off to the user's email account. In today's session on user management, we learned that we can add new users, edit existing users, learned how to change passwords, we learned about roles, how to associate retailers with users and to disassociate retailers with users, learned about the parts only and merchandise only roles, that we could choose our language that affects the literals within the application. We can make a user inactive or active, and if we need to, we can actually make it so that users do not receive emails from the system. That wraps up this ECUtopia education video. We encourage you to use the help button in the application and to view all of our informational videos. If you have any questions, any suggestions or feedback, please let us know by sending us an email to support@ecutopia.com. Thank you and have a great day.